Blessings, everyone, and welcome to another story time with Kenita, where I tell true crime stories and Bible stories. Today will be a true crime stories. This is going to be in our Love Goes Wrong series. Y'all have to excuse me. I just got off of a 24-hour shift, but I wanted to give y'all a good story before I go and crash in the bed because I am exhausted. So this right here is Tony Riley. Tony Riley was married to Kathy Riley. Now, they were high school sweethearts. They had been married since 1984. Now, things started going kind of bad between them. They started not connecting very well. And so they had started on the path of separation without separating. They were still living in a house together. They were still married, but their marriage was not going well at all. Now, here's Mr. Glenn Nichols. Glenn Nichols is a friend of Tony Riley. They grew up together in high school, so they are longtime friends. Now, at this time, he and Miss Kathy Riley had struck up a relationship, and so they had an affair on the side. Now, he was married with children, as well as Kathy and Tony are married with two sons. And so what they would do, they would, hook up and be together, but then they knew that they couldn't be together because they wanted to do right by their prospective families. Now, this affair had been carried on for about almost 6 years. Now, Mr. Riley, Tony Riley, did find out about the affair, and when he confronted his friend here, they came to blows. They threw hands. They came to blows, and then Tony, it was alleged that Tony did threaten him with a gun and said that if he basically doesn't leave his wife alone, that he was going to, unalive him. So they did come to blows, but no one was arrested. No files, no charges were filed. They just went their separate ways after coming to blows, having that. Now, after that happened, there was times when they are saying that Kathy had gotten kind of afraid of her husband, Tony, because he had become irrational. He was upset. He was walking around the house, just starting things with her. His whole personality changed, of course, because he found out that his wife was sleeping with his best friend of years, right? And so 18 months later, on Valentine's Day, this is in 2007, so she could not stay away from Glenn. And so on Valentine's Day, early in the morning at 7 a.m., she went over to his home, to visit him. And so Tony found out about her going to his home. Tony followed her to Glenn's home. So Tony, when he got over to, his name is David Glenn Nichols. Sorry, I kept calling him Glenn, but it's David Glenn Nichols. When he got over to his home, he saw them together. He walked right up to David and he fired 2 shots into him. And when he hit the ground, he fired another one into his head. So he fired 3 shots. Now, Mr. Nichols died on the scene. He didn't do anything to Kathy Riley. And so he ended up getting into a standoff with the police officers for about an hour. And at that time, he shot his own self in the head. Now, he was in critical condition for a while, but you see here that he did make a recovery, and he did lose an eye due to that standoff. So he did go into trial in 2008. And he was convicted of manslaughter, and he was only given 2 years in prison for this event. Now, this happened in Australia. So this was not in the States. This was in Australia. And so, yeah, he got 2 years in prison time. I couldn't find any pictures of Kathy. Like I said, rightfully so, probably because of the situation at hand. Again, even though he felt betrayed like he did, violence is never the answer. Rest in peace, and condolences go out to David Glenn Nichols' family. God bless you guys, and y'all stay safe out there.